Live exemplarily, love authentically, and lead relationally. Live, love, lead. This is the Inspired Family Leader Program with Samuel A. Bakutana, your host, a certified executive coach, an award-winning leadership consultant, a global speaker and author, the CEO of Inspired Leaders International, and the Provincial Fathers Union President. I welcome you to this program, the Inspired Family Leader Program, on this awesome day. I would like to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are watching us from today. This day, we are going to be having an empowering communication with you. So if you are a man seated somewhere or you were about to turn off the dial, let me tell you, this wonderful moment could be a transformational moment for your life, for your family, for your marriage, for your future, for your country. Today, I came to have a conversation with you. I wish I had an opportunity for you to call in and get to know what you think about the things we are going to be talking about. But I don't know where you are watching me from, whether you are watching from your TV set or you are watching on Facebook Live or you are watching on YouTube or you are simply watching this video, maybe a recording of this much later after the program. But whenever you are watching from, in case you are able to give me some feedback, to post that comment if you are on Facebook, post that comment in the comment section. Maybe if you are watching from YouTube, just put it down there in the YouTube comment section so that we are able to know what you think. If you have a brother, if you have a son, if you have a father, if you have a husband, a male friend who is not yet tuned in, I would like you to just call them and let them come and be here and we talk together this wonderful day. You know, last Saturday when we were here, again having this program, our topic was what young people wish fathers knew. The things that young people wish we, the fathers, were aware of. And it was an amazing conversation that I had as we were conversing with two awesome young ladies in their prime of their life, in their prime years. Lois Vania Nakazi and also Rita Mahoro. Those two young ladies came here and looked straight into the face of us, the fathers, and spoke to us about the things that they wish we, the fathers, would know. I want to believe that you paid attention. If you didn't, then you search for that very program on YouTube. You search for what young people wish fathers knew. Add my name, Samuel A. Bakutana, or add Inspired Family Leader. You will be able to get it. Now, today, I came here to do some sort of a discussion of the same, in a sense of sharing with us the 10 ways to be a relevant father. And I am going to be deriving them from that conversation we had last Saturday with Lois and Rita, the young people who were speaking to the fathers about the things that young people wish the fathers knew. I went back and thought through them one by one, and I realized that those young ladies had given us gold as men. They had given us gold as fathers. They had given us gold and silver, They had put it before us to look at it and become better fathers. Each point came as a hard-hitting hammer in my personal heart as I was reflecting. Every time I host any guest on this program, we share for that 1 hour, and then when I go back, I reflect through. Many times you see me here taking notes as the guests I have here are sharing with us. I take notes. I go back and think through. I sometimes go back and watch the whole program and learn and reflect and try to see how these things apply to my own life as a family man. I am a married man. I am married to Honorable Charity, Miss Universe, the queen of my heart. Charity, my watermelon. We've been married for more than a decade, and the Lord has blessed us with 2 children, a boy and a girl. The boy is called Prosper. The girl is called Petra. I always go back and reflect What kind of a father am I? What kind of a husband am I? And most importantly, in light of this program, I ask myself, what kind of a family leader am I? How am I leading my family? How am I giving strategic direction to my family? You know, today, this is about how many days? How many days to Christmas? Just a few days to 25th of December. As a family, my family, we often have family vacation. Every year, we move out, we go somewhere, and we spend some days as a family. And every family vacation we have, we focus it on particular things that we want to focus on. It could be highly recreational, it could be highly reflectional, it could be, whatever we decide that we are going to focus on. So we are going to be having a family vacation this month. And we are going to be focusing on, once again, looking at the strategic philosophy of our family. We want to review our vision as a family. We want to review our mission as a family. We want to review our 5 values as a family. Our 5 values of love, service, integrity, time consciousness, and excellence. Those 5 values. We want to go and review them. We want to set new goals for the next couple of years. So I keep asking myself, what kind of a family head am I? How much am I leading my family? How well am I leading my family? Today, this evening, we are talking about 10 ways how you can become a relevant father. And you see, when we talk about husband, that means we are much more talking about you in relationship with your wife. When we say father, we are talking about you in relationship with your children or any other children that you come into contact with. And when we say family head, we are talking about you as a man in relationship with every member of your family, your wife, your children, any person that is living with you in your family. So today the focus is on father, and particularly on the concept of relevance. Now, I want to first of all begin with some 3 critical thoughts about this topic. 3 critical thoughts. Critical thought number 1 is that everyone was created to have a father. Everyone was created to have a father. How do I know that? I know that because no person was manufactured, from I don't know which materials. They get some materials, put them together and manufacture you, and now you're alive. I know we are talking about artificial intelligence, we are talking of robotics, we are talking about all these technological advancements that are happening all over the world. But as far as I know, a real human being was born by a mother. And that mother had an engagement with a father to be able to conceive and have that child. Of course, I know you may quickly be thinking about artificial insemination and surrogate mothers. I am aware of all that. But under normal circumstances, the original way how things were supposed to be is that you have a father here, you have a mother here. And guess what? Even when you talk of surrogate mothers, they are also carrying a seed of a certain father somewhere, even if he is not known. So, God in his wisdom made it happen that everybody is supposed to be born because there is a father and there is a mother. So everyone was created to have a father. And for me, as I have shared before, a father's role, one of the biggest reasons why everyone was created to have a father is because a father is the one who imparts identity, a sense of identity in the life of that young man, in the life of that young woman, and also gives direction and also reconnects or connects the young man or the young woman to their destiny. That's the importance of a father. So everyone was created to have a father. I grew up without one. My father died when I was a young man in elementary school, in primary school. But I had some father figures in my life. And even when I had those father figures, growing up without my own biological father, I know the gaps that I had to experience. I am forever grateful that today I can stand here and share with you about fatherhood, even when I had a tumultuous childhood without a father. I stand here very grateful that today I can be a leader of men. I can be the president of the Fathers Union. God is awesome, isn't he? Byakorani bitangaza. So everyone was created to have a father. And number two, critical thought number two, is that every child needs to have a father in his or her life. You may quickly say, but what if the father died just like your father, Mr. Samuel Bakutana? Well, a father may not only be the biological one. One can also have a father figure in their life who may not be a biological father. The whole point is that every child, as he or she is growing up, needs to have men in his or her life, needs to have males in his or her life, needs to have those kinds of men, those kinds of males that play the father role in his or her life, so that they can be able to impart the identity, a sense of identity, so that they are able to give this young person a sense of direction, but then also connect the young person to their destiny, to their future. So, critical thought number one was that everyone was created to have a father. Critical thought number two is that every child needs a father. And you know, I have shared this before, that not only do we need mothers for nurturing, but we also need fathers for training. So, whenever a child does not have a father or a father figure in their life, many times there is a defaulting on the aspect of training them. A mother was built. She comes with every equipment, with every skill, with every capacity, capability, and ability to nurture, to offer the care, to nurture, to raise, to nurture. But then the father comes with the full equipment and the tools and the capacity and the capability to train, you know. So, whereas everyone was created to have a father, every child needs to grow up with a father or a father figure in their life. And critical thought number three is that whereas a father is important, not every father is relevant. Let me say that again. Whereas a father is important, whereas every father is important, not every father is relevant. You see, importance is natural, but relevance is man-made. What do I mean? Let me explain. Because you are a father and you have a child, naturally, in the grand scheme of things, you are important. Because you have somebody on this earth who looks at you and says, that is my father. So you are important to somebody by virtue of being a father. But being a father does not necessarily make you a relevant person in the life of the child, the life of the children. And so today, our focus is on relevance, not so much of importance. Already clear, a man is important, a father is important in the life of a child. But today the focus is on his relevance. Do you know that you can be a father who is irrelevant in the life of your girl? Do you know that you can be a father who is irrelevant in the life of your boy, the life of your young man? Do you know you can be a father who is meaningless to the children that you have brought forth into this world? Today, I am sounding the clarion call of fathers returning to a place of relevance. Many of us are so used to moving around and reminding our children how we are the fathers, telling them to be children, reminding them of how we are the ones that call the shots in the family, how we are the family leaders and so on and so forth. Family heads. And it's okay once in a while maybe to make that reminder, especially if there are things that are not going well. Maybe. Whereas I don't so much believe in having to say that, but maybe depending on the circumstances of your home, you need to remind your children that you're their father. But by the time that happens, it already tells you there is a crisis of relevance. And it is the one I have come to address today, the crisis of relevance. So we are talking about the 10 ways how you can be a relevant father. Not just a father, not just an important father, not just a biological father, not just an official father, but one who is relevant, who is fit for purpose, who makes sense to his own children, who has a meaningful relationship with his children, that's a relevant father. The one whose children feel that they have a father. Do your children feel you? Do your children feel that they have a father? They may know that they have a father, but do they feel that they have a father? Relevance. So last Saturday, Lois and Rita talked to us about the things that young people wish their fathers knew. I want to get them and turn them into the 10 ways how you can be a relevant father. Number 1, ask for ideas. Ask your children for ideas. We were reminded that young people also have views about things. We were reminded that young people also have opinions about some things. Young people also have, preferences. They have likes and dislikes. And yes, you may say they are still young, so they must go by my decisions. But let me tell you, the fact that they are young doesn't mean they are unwise, even when they may carry some seeds of foolishness. That the Bible says a rod of correction drives it away. They have views, they have knowledge, they have skills, they have preferences. They have things they like and things they don't like. So it's important that you keep that at the back of your mind if you want to be a relevant father. And ask them for ideas. On almost, everything. Seek their opinion on some matters in the family. I will not say on all matters. That would be stretching it so far. But you can ask for their opinion on some matters in the family. And I will give some examples. For example, I talked about values of my own family. That's an area where my children can have an input. The values of the home. If you are going to remodel the house and change 1 or 2 things, maybe you need to know the color they would prefer. Maybe you need to know the kind of chairs they would like that would make a good environment for them to thrive in. Ask them for their opinion about some things. Maybe even about schools that you are going to take them to. You see, asking them for their ideas and their opinions does not put you under an obligation to take all of them wholesale, do them as the children have said, as the young people have said. No. But it helps you to get to know their mind, to get to know their preferences, so that as you are making a decision as a head of the family, you are putting into consideration the ideas of the members of the family, including your children. So if you want to be a relevant father, number 1, ask for ideas. About food, about purchases, about clothes, about colors, as you continue to guide and make the final decision. Number 2, if you are going to be a relevant father, you need to protect the name of your family. We were reminded by the young people that a bad child who has not been raised well brings a bad reputation, not just to the mother, like some cultures have put it, but also to the whole family. And when a bad child who is not well-mannered, who is not well-cultured, who has a bad disposition, who has bad character, when that child brings bad reputation to the family, you need to remember that that bad reputation will come upon you as the head of that family. They will be saying the family of so and so. They will be saying the son of so and so, the daughter of so and so. You can be sure they will mention your name. So it's important, if you are to be relevant, then you need to find ways how to protect the name of your family, good reputation of your family, by spending time with your children and enabling them to be good flag bearers of your family values, to be good ambassadors of your family. So raise them to bring a good name to your family. And this may include having family culture, How are things done in this family? How are things done in your family? Do you have a culture? And I'm not per se meaning a traditional culture to say that for us in central Uganda, the Waganda people, we do things this way. Not particularly that, not particularly saying for us we have a chiga in Kabare, we do things this way. That could be part of it, but largely I'm talking about the family culture. How are things done in this family? The way things are done in your family does not need to necessarily depend on the traditional culture, even when you have to borrow a lot of things from the traditional culture. So the whole point is, keep remembering that there is a need to protect the name of your family by building your children to have a good reputation. Number 3, if you want to be a relevant father, you need to train your children. Now, the young people last week reminded us that training comes through the father. Just like I said a few minutes ago, the mother is well equipped to nurture. A father is well equipped to train. And then together, as time goes on, as children grow, then both of them mentor and coach. But from the beginning years of life, the mother nurtures. As they get into teenagehood, the father strongly trains. As they become young adults, both of them mentor. As they become, adults of their own and have their own families, you keep as a mentor, as a coach. But here the point is, if you want to be a relevant father, you need to train your children. Train your children in different areas of life. Train them in financial management. I remember one time when I was in a supermarket with my daughter. By that time, she was still very young. She was, I think, about 5 years that time. So what happened is that she saw a guitar and she wanted to have it. And she requested me to buy it for her. And I took that as an opportunity to train her in financial management. I let her know that if she doesn't have money, she can't buy anything. So immediately I bought for her a piggy bank, took it at home, and then we started saving. Within 5 months' time, we opened the box, found the money, took it to the supermarket again, asked for how much it was. They told us the money. I found that there was only a gap of 4,000 Ugandan shillings. Just picked it from the pocket, added it to her bulk of money, bought the guitar for herself. We went home, I got mine, she got hers, and we were playing our guitars at home and happy. She was extremely happy, feeling satisfied and having a sense of fulfillment. You know why? Because she had bought that guitar for herself. And how did she manage to do that? Because a father who was intentional and deliberate helped her to learn a financial lesson when she made a request inside the supermarket. Train your children. That's when you become relevant to them. Train your children in financial management. Train your children in managing their emotions. When they throw tantrums, train them how to manage emotions. Train them how to handle relationships, boyfriend-girlfriend relationships. Do they even talk to you about those things? Have you created an environment where they can share with you about a boy who has proposed to them, a girl who is hitting on them? Train them how to handle relationships. Train them godliness, how to be godly men and women. Train them in cleanliness, hygiene, and sanitation. Train them in the area of hard work. Train them in the area of professionalism. Train them in housework, in survival skills. To mention but a few, train your children if you want to be relevant. And that, of course, requires not only reliability, but also availability and intentionality. If you are not intentional, if you are not available, it becomes difficult for you to be there to train your own children. You can't train your children by remote. Probably right now you are holding your remote right there where you are. Or maybe it's by your side. You see, you can get it and move things. I hope you don't try it out right now while this program is going on. But children are not trained that way. You can't train them, on remote or by remote. You have to be with them. You have to be available. You have to be in their life. That's very important. Now, number 4, you need to engage them amidst stresses. We always forget that young people also have stresses. They are stressed by different things. Young people are stressed by fashion. They are stressed by relationships. They are stressed by peer pressure. They are stressed by their own hormones. They are stressed by school, by academics. They are stressed by money. They are stressed by other needs. If you are going to be a relevant father, you need to be able to engage them amidst their different stresses. What they need is not further stress from us, the fathers. What they need is us to engage them and give them counseling. We are going to take a very brief break, short break. And when we come back, we will talk about the remaining ways how you can become a relevant father in the life of your children. Live exemplarily, love authentically, and lead relationally. This indeed is the Inspired Family Leader Program with Samuel A. Bakutana, your host, certified executive coach, award-winning leadership consultant, global speaker and author, the CEO of Inspired Leaders International, and the Provincial Fathers Union President. Today we are talking about the top 10 ways how you can be a relevant father in the life of your children. And we have already talked about 4 points, so we continue in this second segment of the program. Number 5, fulfill your promises. If you want to be a relevant father, fulfill your promises. The young people the other time reminded us that fathers have become the biggest heartbreakers to the young people. Not the boyfriends and not the girlfriends, but the fathers. And this is happening in a way of promises that are not fulfilled. You make a promise that you will do this and you don't do it. You promise that you will do that and you don't do it. You promise that you will go to this other place and you don't go there. You promise that you will do this and that for them and you don't do it. And you don't even explain why it didn't happen. Or probably when you hear this, depending on where you are and probably how old you are, you feel like I should give an explanation to my children about things I didn't do or things I did. Yes. You see, you need to keep remembering this program is the Inspired Family Leader. You are a leader of the family. And every good leader in every leadership context has to be able to communicate effectively why things are going the way they are going, how things actually are, what is happening, what is not happening, what they are working on, what is coming ahead, what is going to stop, and so on and so forth. That kind of engagement and communication is part of leadership. It's part of family leadership. So the point here is fulfilling your promises. So when you promise, fulfill. It could be a small promise, it could be a big promise, but to the young people, every promise from their father is big. Even if it is, my son, when I'm coming back, I will come back with a sweet. I will give you a sweet. If that word comes out of your mouth, for you, you may look at it as a small, little, tiny thing. But let me tell you, because it is Daddy's word, it carries a lot of heaviness. It is big. It is huge. Fulfill it, big or small. Because when you do that, as a result, you are modeling integrity. You are gaining more trust. You are teaching dependability through your own actions to your children. Fulfill promises if you want to be a relevant father. The opposite is always promising the things you don't do as a father. And as a result, your children stop depending on you. They stop trusting your word. And as time goes on, they take you as a man who has no integrity. And that's not a place where us as fathers want to be. So fulfill your promises. Number 6, learn the art of conversation. If you want to be relevant to your children, learn the art of conversation. You know, the other time the young people reminded us that not every conversation we have with them should be about giving them advice, giving them a lesson to learn, disciplining them. That there should be a time when we just sit down and share with them. When we just sit down and play games together. When we just sit down and hear them out. We need to learn the art of conversation as fathers. I am a communication specialist, and I train people in communication, in public speaking, in presentation mastery, and so on and so forth. One of the things I know about effective communication is that it is rarely one way. It's rarely one directional. You know? Many times, especially where you have a live audience, not like now, but where you have a live audience, there needs to be a two-directional kind of communication. That also means that effective communication has to be in form of taking turns. There is turn taking as a concept of effective communication. I talk, as my children listen. Then I shut up. They talk, and I listen. And then I respond as they listen. And then they talk as I listen. That's a conversation, not a monologue, but a conversation. As fathers, we need to learn the art of conversation and ensure that while we are conversing with our children, with our sons and our daughters, we are not only always giving them a lesson to learn, always giving them advice, always telling them what they are not doing well, always telling them how they are betraying us, always, disciplining. You don't want to be seen as a policeman in the home. You need to be seen as a father. Even if policing them could be part of your role on the side of correction and discipline, you can't always be doing that every day from morning to evening. There needs to be a time when you just have a conversation on other things. And one thing that is going to help you in that line is to learn to listen actively and listen to them. Listen to them very well. Give them room to share and you listen to them. I have come to learn that a listening ear has more impact than a talking mouth. And this does not only apply to children and fathers, but also husband and wife, but also just in conversations, day-to-day life. Many times people are not looking for one more person to talk to them. Instead, they are looking for one more ear to listen to them. We can capitalize on that truth, on that natural law as fathers, so that we have a better relationship with our children. Think about rather learning to ask questions. Instead of always telling them what to do, what not to do, ask them questions and then listen. If you have just tuned in, this is the Inspired Family Leader Program with Samuel A. Bakutana, your host. And today we are talking about the top 10 ways of how you can be a relevant father. Being an important father is one thing. Being a relevant father is a totally different thing. So we are handling the crisis of relevance. Now, number 7, have a meaningful relationship with the Creator. If you want to be a relevant father, have a meaningful relationship with the Creator. You know, as men, we tend to be preoccupied with many things. Preoccupied with gadgets. Gadgets. Men with gadgets. With soccer. With adult toys, big cars. With our jobs, our work, our professions, our vocations. We tend to be so preoccupied. With our friendships, the groups we belong to, the associations we belong to. You feel you're so happy to proclaim, like me, I am a member of the International Coaching Federation as a certified executive coach. So you could be a CPA, certified public accountant. You could be an IC something, CPC, certified. We can be so preoccupied with those things. And we think that life is only about jobs, money, soccer, gadgets, cars, phones, tabs, I this, I that. We forget that we not only have the body, which is the one that often interacts with all those things I've talked about, but we also have the soul, where we have three things. The soul, that's where we have the will, that's where we have the mind, that's where we have the emotions. We also have a soul, but also we have a spirit, where you have communion with the Creator, where you have conscience, where you have the world of intuition. You are not only a body, you are also a soul, you are also a spirit. So if you are going to be relevant in the life of your children, you better have a vibrant relationship with the one who gave you those children, with the Creator of the universe. It's very critical. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience. We are not physical beings having a spiritual experience. I remember last week, the young people here on this program looked at us and spoke to us very candidly. And they said that a father's relationship with God sets the tone for how they also relate with their own father, with you. So when they look at how you are relating with the Father in heaven, they will know how to relate with you. Now, that is very encouraging for you and I that take these things of the spiritual matters seriously, but that is quite scary for some of us that may not take it seriously. The way you relate with the Heavenly Father, with the Creator, will set a tone for your children concerning how they should relate with you, their earthly father. So have a vibrant relationship with the Creator. Make sure your relationship is transformational, not a mere transaction. Very critical. So that's a challenge, and I want to give you this challenge. We are in the Christmas season. I would like to give you this challenge as a fellow man, that this Christmas season, do everything possible to portray godly character, godly actions throughout the season. That's the challenge I'm giving to all of you fathers who are watching me. I dare you. That's my challenge for you as men, that during this Christmas season and beyond anyway, but particularly during this Christmas season, I challenge you as a man to rise up to real godly masculinity and ensure and make sure that during this season, you're going to go through it with a godly character. You won't be around womanizing. You won't be moving around with the alcohol and getting drunk. You won't be stealing. You won't be lying. You won't be indulging in ungodliness, in wickedness. I'm very candid on this point. That's my challenge for you this Christmas as a man, as a father, as a husband, as a man, as a community leader. That's my challenge for you. A relationship with the Creator. Now, number 8, if you are to be relevant to your children, mind your words. Mind your words. I have studied human resource management. I studied, general management. I studied the Masters of Arts in organizational leadership and management. A number of you have gone through courses and programs and seminars on financial management. Some of you have gone through empowerment in home management. And so on and so forth. Some of you are police people. Policemen have been sharing with me how they are watching this program. Afande Jackson, salute. Afande Ruth, salute. Afande Farida, salute. Thank you for always watching this program. You may have been equipped in crowd management as a policeman, as a policewoman. But when shall we also be equipped in mouth management? Mouth management. Young people have told us as fathers that the words we speak to them have a far-reaching impact on their lives and their future. It can never get truer than what I've just said. Our words have an impact on our children. Did you know that you are prophet number 1 in the life of your children as a father? The things you speak to your child will create a huge impact in their life, either for good or for bad, either for the benefit or for the detriment, depending on what kind of things you speak to your child. If you want to be relevant to your child, you need to mind your words. It's very important. So what comes out of your mouth? Is it decency? Is it vulgarity? What comes out of your mouth? Is it healing? Is it killing? Is it encouragement? Is it discouragement? What comes out of your mouth? Is it positive prophecy? Is it prophesying doom into the life of your own children? I have come to realize that this is one of the greatest determinants of the warmth or the coldness in the relationship between fathers and their children. The words we speak. If we are always hitting them with our mouth, always, discouraging them, always rebuking them, always negativity. Sometimes even vulgar and profane proclamations and pronouncements upon their life and future and their school and their marriages and their relationships. If that's all that we are doing, many times that will distance them away from us. And when they have gone, we stop being relevant to them. But words of encouragement, words of exhortation, words of hope, words of aspiration, words of positivity, those words build them up. And as a result, there is an emotional connection we get with them. And to cut the long story short, we end up drawing them to us, towards us. And that gives us a platform, an opportunity for being relevant in their lives. Please, mind your words as you speak to your children. And second last, number 9, remember that they are young. That's one other way how you can be relevant in their life. Remembering that they are young. You know, one thing that often happens is that we want young people to behave like adults, to think like adults, to act like adults. Yet even some of us, as adults, sometimes we default on the same expectation. We act like non-adults. So young people are crying out there. They are saying, hey, our fathers, can you please remember that we are still young people? We are not yet adults. We are transitioning. We are still on the journey. We need your hand. We need your help. We are transitioning. And one of the implications of the fact that they are still young people is that they often have to make mistakes that young people make. And from them they learn. And from those mistakes they grow. Of course I know, as a father of 2, I know it is easier said than done. There was one time when I entered our house a few years ago, and I found my boy had broken the door of the wardrobe. I came to know that he was climbing on the wardrobe and swinging on the door of the wardrobe. And the door came tumbling down. You know, I remember that evening when I looked at the door down on the tile. I looked at it, I looked at the wardrobe. I felt like this young man here, I don't know what I should do to him. But then, thank God, I went to our bedroom, kept quiet, and first of all, did not fume. I addressed it days later. But I was having that soberness of knowing, well, they are children. That does not mean condoning stupidity, does not mean condoning foolishness in them. It does not mean condoning bad behavior in them. No way. It has to be dealt with. But what this means is that we should remember that they are still young people. They are not adults like you and I. So the focus should be on patiently guiding them. And lastly, number 10, reconnect with their importance. Reconnect with their importance. Ladies and gentlemen, especially you gentlemen, the fathers who are watching, it is so easy for us to start to view our children as distractions. We are busy with our work, the children are distracting us. It is so easy for us to view our children as burdens against our freedom. I should have traveled with the other team to go to this other place, but you see I have children. We have nowhere to leave them. So you see them as a burden. It is so easy to see our children as expenses. Oh, school fees, food, clothes, shelter, and so on and so forth. But it's important that we reconnect with their importance, to look at them as gifts that the Creator has given us. Children are gifts. Children are such a joy. Even when they annoy us, it's part of what makes life exciting and amazing. So you need to reconnect with their importance. And one of the implications is that they don't have to always be begging us for us to be able to do for them the things we are supposed to do for them. Hope Bizimana was asking about this. Begging them, what does that mean? It means that we know our responsibilities as parents, especially as fathers, and therefore we shouldn't make those areas points where our children should be coming to beg us all the time. Daddy, please pay school fees, and you are able to do that. But you want them to first beg you. That shows that you are not taking them as important, and you are also not taking your responsibility as important. Ladies and gentlemen, conclusion. Let's conclude this way as we end this program. Let's go back to the 3 critical thoughts that we began with. First of all, everyone was created to have a father, for identity, for direction, and for destiny. Number 2, every child needs a father, if not for any other thing, especially for the training that every child needs. And number 3, whereas a father is important, not every father is relevant. Importance is natural, relevance is man-made. You make yourself relevant to your children. And so we have talked about the 10 ways how you can be a relevant father to your children. Number 1, ask them for ideas because they also have opinions. Number 2, protect their family name and know that a bad reputation from your child brings a bad reputation onto the whole family whose head is watching me right now. And number 3, train your children because it's the role of the father to bring training upon the child. Number 4, engage them amidst stresses. Remember, they also are stressed by many different things. So why not engage and counsel them? And number 5, fulfill promises. Time is over for us fathers being the biggest heartbreakers to our children. Fulfill your promise. Number 6, learn the art of conversation. Not every conversation has to be about advice, lessons, and discipline. You can learn to ask questions and listen to them as they also share what they have on their hearts. Number 7, have a meaningful relationship with God, because how you relate with the Creator sets the tone for how they should relate with you as their earthly father. Number 8, mind your words, because the words we speak to our children have a far-reaching impact, even far into their future. And the second last, remember that they are still young, so they will make some mistakes that all young people make. What you have to do is to patiently keep guiding them. And finally, number 10, reconnect with their importance. They are not a burden. They are not an expense. They are not a distraction. They are not an interruption. No, they are gifts that we have. They are our inheritance. Children, young people are a blessing. Not only children in our own families, but also children in our neighborhood and in our communities. So, now that you know these things, please go and do them. And as we talked about the things that young people wish fathers knew, I think in the coming days, I will bring a team of fathers to talk about the things that fathers wish young people knew, so that they can also hear from their fathers. And together we learn, together we grow, together we serve. Merry Christmas, and I wish you a new year that your actions and your choices will cause to happen. God bless you, God bless Uganda, God bless Africa, God bless the whole world, the Inspired Family Leader Program.